All right, I'm just creating a video for this geometry pre-assessment. I don't think it's necessarily that you need the video for pre-assessment, but I feel like this is a good geometry review video since it will talk about the geometric shapes that you're going to see on the next assessment. Okay, so the first one that we have is a triangle. So the area for any triangle is its base times height divided by 2. Just as a little note, I guess, remember, why did this all come about? And this came about because, this used to be a parallelogram, and then we cut that parallelogram in half. And the area of any parallelogram is base times height. So we realized that for a triangle, we would just need to cut that there and find that base and height. So in this case, the base is the 11 right here, and the height is 4 inches right here. Keep in mind that the base and height are always perpendicular to each other. Base is perpendicular to height. So in this case, the 6 and 8 are distractions, but could be used in finding the perimeter. So we would say area equals 11 times 4 over 2. And area equals 11 times 4, which is 44 divided by 2. And 44 divided by 2 is 22 square inches. So the area is 22 square inches. Okay. Speaking of parallelogram, there's one right there. So we just talked about area of a parallelogram is base times height. Base equals 15 centimeters, and the height equals not the 7, but the 5 centimeters. So in this case, we just need to multiply 5 times 17. And I'll just do it in here. 15 times 5 is, 5 times 5 is 25. And 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2, that's 7. 75. So the area equals, I guess I could just put it here, 75 square centimeters. 7 in this case is also a distractor, but it could be used in the perimeter, right? All right, so I think the toughest of all the problems would be the trapezoid, and the trapezoid in this problem would be 2 triangles inside of each, or right next to each other, right? So I will cut this away, and by cutting that in half, I have formed 2 triangles. We could talk about the top red triangle, and we can talk about the blue triangle, right there. Let's focus in on that red triangle. The area, as we learned up above, area for any triangle is base times height, and we divide that by 2. The base in this case is 9, and the height is, the height of that triangle, remember, is this 5 right here. That's that 5 inches for there. If you have to, you could almost pause and just flip the video all the way around. Flip your iPad around to look at it from, base is 9 and the height is 5. So we slipped those numbers in there. So area equals 9 times 5 divided by 2. All right, so area equals 9 times 5, which is 45, divided by 2. Now, a little trick is we could separate those out. We could say it was 40 divided by 2, and we would add that to 5 divided by 2. So 40 divided by 2 is 20, and 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, so the area of the red part is 22.5. All right, so that found the red triangle. We do need to find the blue triangle, right? All right, so in this case, let's focus in on the blue one. The base of the triangle is the 16 meters, and the height is also 5 meters, okay? And just as a side note here, the 9 and 16 are the bases of the trapezoid, and we would also call them the bases of each triangle, and the height of the trapezoid is the 5 meters, also known as the height of the trapezoid, or height of the 2 triangles, sorry. So let's do this. Area equals, again, base times height divided by 2, and the base is 16, and the height is 5. All right, so area equals 16 times 5 divided by 2. Now, 16 times 5, we'll do here. 0, carry the 3, that's an 80. So we know that the area equals 80 divided by 2, right? And that equals then 40, and what are our units? Square meters. Alrighty, now those are square meters. The last thing we need to do is combine the red triangle with the blue triangle, and when we put those final areas together, we have 40 and 22.5. Add that up. I'll slip a 0 in there. That looks like that's going to be 62.5 square meters. Okay. Mr. Cronus declared today the Cooler Ranch Dorito Day. The best chips. He found that each side length of the triangular shaped chip is 50 millimeters. So that would mean that this length would be 50 millimeters. The height is 42 millimeters. Well, how much is the area of one chip? Well, area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Base is 50 and the height is 42, and so we need to multiply those, and in this case, just for change of pace, I'm going to do it as a generic rectangle. Whoops, I don't need to do it quite like that. Let's do, sorry, the top will be 50 because there's no number there. After it's just 50, and then I'll do that as 40 and 2. 5 times 4 is 20 with 2 zeros added on to that, and 5 times 2 is 10 with a 0 added on to that. So that is 2,100. So area equals 50 times 42, which I kind of did already, right? And that equals 2,100 divided by 2, right? And so what I will do in this case, I could do like I did right here. I broke it apart. I could break it to 2,100 right here. And I'll show that, but I'm also going to show a long division just to see that. So 2,000 divided by 2 plus the 100 divided by 2, and that equals 1,000 plus 50. So we would put that all together for a grand total of 1,050 square millimeters. Now, if I did this as a long division, all right, just to make sure we see stuff differently, we would put how many 2's go into 2 right here, 1, 2, and we subtract. We got a 0. We drop our 1 down. How many 2's go into 1? None. So I put a 0. I have to drop another 0 down. So how many 2's go into 10? 5 of them. 5 times 2 is 10. We'll subtract. I get a 0. That's what I'm looking for. How many 2's go into 0? 0. I need that extra one in there. So there's my 1,050. Okay. Mr. Crone makes a lot of mistakes and needs a really big eraser. He measured the parallelogram on the side and found it was 2.5 centimeters high and 12 centimeters long. What's the area of the side? All right, 2.5 centimeters high. So that would be kind of like right here. That distance would be 2.5 centimeters. Okay, picture the parallelogram as that shape right. Oh man, not sitting. I'm kind of sitting funny here, and so then it makes it really hard to make nice straight lines on here. So there, maybe it's easier now to see the parallelogram on the side there. So it's 2.5 centimeters high and 12 centimeters long. There we go. So let's find the area of that parallelogram. Area equals base times height. Base equals 12 and the height equals 2.5. So the area of this is 12 times 2.5. Now, just to again show things differently, I will do it on the side. Excuse me. But if we say, we can rewrite this as what's 12 times 2 plus 12 times 0.5, or half. Notice how I broke the 2.5 up. So that 12 times 2 is 24, plus what is a half of 12? That's 6, for a grand total of 30 square centimeters, right? Now that's a totally different way of breaking up that 2.5. Another way to do that could be, need some space, 12 times 2.5. We ignore the decimal place and just multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. And we slip over one. We got a 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times 1, which is 2. We add those up. 0, 0. Carry the 1, and I have a 3. Now, because the 12 is in the ones place and the 2.5 is in the tenths place, we multiply those and we get a 10. So that means my answer has to be in the tenths place. There we go. So that's my 30. Another way to find the 30. And how about last but not least, 12 times 2.5. You could do a generic rectangle too. And that generic rectangle could be 10 plus 2 for the 12, and then 2 times the, or 2 plus the 0.5 here. And so we could just fill in all those places. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 2 is 4. 10 times 0.5, what's half of 10? That's 5. And then 2 times 0.5 is 1, because we had half of 2 is 1. 20 plus 4 plus 5 plus 1 is also 30. Okay, so our grand total is, showed how to multiply that 3 different ways. All right, if you got any other questions, please let me know. Have a great day.